An incel is not something that you want to be. Short for involuntary celibate, it pretty much means you just get no cheeks. No matter how hard you try, you cannot find a woman to like you. Let me introduce you to the incel paradox. Yes, I just made this shit up. The word incel stands for involuntary celibate. When you label yourself an incel, it is no longer involuntary. Even if you're a 7 out of 10, just saying to a woman that you're an incel will instantly lower you to a 2. They will instantly dry up and probably stop giving you attention. Why is this? Does she hate you because you get no pussy? No, I mean probably, but it's bigger than that. The word is no longer used for a normal man who can't get laid. The term is usually reserved now for grown-ass man babies who hate women. So with this new meaning, when you tell someone that you're an incel, this is what they're thinking about. Not to mention there have been a lot of mass shootings where the perpetrator identified himself as an incel. This does not mean you're evil if you get no cheeks. This is just a warning. Never call yourself an incel. An incel is a defeated man. He's admitting that he can't get any woman. It's a common trend for incels to look like they've not been taking care of themselves. The average incel has given up. I believe the incel paradox is that once you call yourself an incel, you're no longer an incel because it's no longer involuntary. For this video, I thought we could show a self-proclaimed incel. If you admit that you're an incel, this is who you're grouping yourself in with.
Okay, hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
First impressions are very important. As humans, we judge people quickly off our first impression because we have to survive. What's your first impression of Derek here? He hasn't really said anything yet, but what do you notice about him? Besides for the fact that he called himself an incel, let's look at his appearance. The first thing I noticed was his messy ass hair. He did not even make an attempt in trying to make his hair look presentable. It looks like Jubilee kidnapped him from his house, put a blindfold over his head, and then drove him to the video shoot. It's little, but it can change someone's first impression on you. Once someone already has a bad impression of you, it's hard to change it. It's 100,000 times easier to just give a good first impression to begin with. What else do you notice about Derek? Maybe the fact that he's not in shape, his horrible taste in fashion. Okay, I know fashion is subjective, but what the fuck is that? He looks like an off-brand superhero. This is incel man. This is a superhero. It's probably more like a supervillain, to be honest. This is important, but I'm gonna get into the why later. First, we're gonna watch the video some more.
What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks, and that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people. Like there's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose people are more traditionalists.
Derek is very misguided. While I think girls going through their little hoe phase should not be promoted the way it is, if they want to do it, that's them. Right now, it's the trend in society, and I don't think that's how it should be. But the only reaction to something like this should be to better yourself and get to the top. If no woman likes you, it is not society, bro. It's you. Women are the most promiscuous they've ever been, and you still get no hoes. In a situation like this, you can't wait for the whole world to adapt around you. You have to do it yourself. How do you do this if you're an incel? The first and easiest step is just to make sure that you're well groomed. If your hair is all over the place, you don't look like Goku. Just fix that shit, bro. It's okay to have messy hair, because I have messy hair in real life. The difference is that some men can't tell the difference between messy and unkept. The second step, which is unfortunately much more difficult, is to get your ass in the gym. When was the last time you seen a muscular incel? Exactly. You've never seen one. I think the very best thing a man could do for himself is start going to the gym. It will better your life in so many different ways. A lot of men will sit there and say, oh my god, why can't I get a girl? Why can't I do it? Society. Even if society is fucked up right now in that way, why would you sit there and complain about it? It's not like the gym is a secret. Everyone knows about the gym, but some people refuse to go and better themselves. The idea behind an incel is no matter how hard they try, they won't be able to get a woman for themselves. I don't think that a single person on on this planet cannot get a woman. I've never seen an incel who was actually trying to be his best self. A lot of them end up blaming it on genetics, and they use that as an excuse to not do anything to better themselves. Derek is not ugly because of anything genetic. It doesn't have anything to do with the space between his eyes or the shape of his nose or his eyebrows. It has to do with a clear lack of effort, and calling himself an incel is not helping his case. You know the saying, fake it until you make it? There's a lot of truth to that. I'm not saying to change your entire personality, because it's pretty obvious when someone is trying to be someone they're not, but maybe don't label yourself as never having sex in your life. This guy faced such backlash that he is now known as the Jubilee Incel guy. He also has his own YouTube channel. Why don't we check it out? I'm sure we'll find some great insightful content on there.
There's a topic I wanted to cover for a while. If you can't tell by the title, this video is called Better Incel Than Cuck. This is in reference to the countless amount of people who have been in or are in relationships who are absolutely cucked or in awful relationships. Whether it be the beta-buxing 30-year-old Reddit-browsing soy boy who lets his wife straight up have sex with other men, or something more benign, such as someone who marries a non-virgin.
Yes, you heard that correctly. If you marry a non-virgin, you are a cuck according to him. I don't know what it is, but something just makes him and his content so unlikable. He has this type of smug personality where he just sounds like he's so right, and it's irritating. For me, this kind of confirmed that him being an incel was more about his personality than about what he actually looked like.
You see, if I wasn't an incel, I'd be a volcel. Not only for my benefit, but for the benefit of society and my future partner. You see, there's a massive reason for this. Some incels might be shocked by this statement and say something like, sending by any means is what's necessary. And some normie might say something like, haha, this is proof there's no such thing as an incel. You just have too high standards, bro. Both are extremely low IQ statements. To the incel, I'd say, inceldom is painful, isn't it? One of the worst things in the world, right? And what caused your inceldom? Like, realistically, we know it's because of Marxism, sexual promiscuity, etc. If you lived in a traditional Western society, unless you're an absolute abomination or mentally handicapped, the likelihood of you being incel is extremely low. So why the hell would you encourage me or any incel, if they have the opportunity to ascend, to participate in the same degenerate culture that has created inceldom in the first place? The thing that is making you suffer right now. Being with a woman who has a much higher chance of leaving me, divorcing me, cheating on me, being unhappy, being a bad mother, and then doing this to another guy. It's a ridiculous notion. You're asking me to make the world a worse place than it already is.
This guy has to be the worst fucking incel I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit. God, I can't get laid because of Marxism and sexual promiscuity. I get what he means. Our society is very focused on sex. And yes, this does allow women to have a lot pickier standards. But this is just human nature. Why would you not want the best that you could get? If women want the best, your response should just be to become the best. Women don't only want the best of the best. If you become the best you, I promise you will attract women. Not only because you look better, but because you'd feel better too. This guy's story actually has a happier ending than some might think. He ended up losing weight and he actually looks a lot better now. He finally got laid. His Twitter bio reads that one incel dude who is on Jubilee but is not an incel anymore but still holds the same opinions. Yeah, there's no saving this guy. That's gonna wrap it up for today's video though. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, whatever, I really don't like you anyway. Thank you for watching. I was just kidding, bro. I like you.